Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what we've seen here in this little lesson is first of all, we built a model up from scratch. We eschewed wizards. We didn't resort to wizards. We instead built the model up from scratch. It required a little bit of stretching, but it was something which we could do. We added a person class. We had to make that person class, in a bit of an awkwardness noted by Carmel, we had to make that person class an agent. We dragged that agent over to become a population. We set that population so it was so-called replicated with size 100. We added in an environment which would tell these agents where to live and made the population dependent on the environment. And we gave those population members a representation, which was an oval. We then ran the model and we saw ovals scattered all over the screen representing the fact that these population members have been located by the environment in different places. Then what did we do? Well, we added to these population members, we went and added some characteristics of heterogeneity, income and sex, okay? And we made income a double value, we made sex an integer, the income being double, meaning it was sort of a real quantity, and sex is an int. And by doing that, we could then impose heterogeneity in the population. And we use this population here of persons to specify values from which the values of income and sex could be drawn. Okay? We then we ran the model, we saw that people were indeed created with diverse heterogeneity in sex and in income. We then went up to this oval and we set its radius and its color to depend on the income and sex respectively, and ran the model, and we saw that we could make the visual appearance in a declarative fashion. In other words, just by saying, make the radius this, or make the color this, it could show us the appropriate colors. Then what we did as the final sort of coup de grace, we went to main, we added a population, a parameter to it. And just as population specifies parameters for persons, it's the experiment that specifies the parameter values for the main class. So we added a population size parameter. We, although later, went back and added it so that the population depended on the population size parameter. And then we created these experiments where we could specify population sizes. In this case, 100 and 1,000. We saw that while the population of size 100 looked a familiar size, the population of size 1,000 was much more crowded. So in short, we've seen aspects of heterogeneity and parameters here. Yes?